What's up, everybody, and welcome to another bonus episode of Team Chat Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jared Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
Aloha.
To my left, Zachary Parks.
Howdy.
And we're here with another Team Chat review bonus episode while we're on our winter break.
Boo.
And this one comes from Mogan.
Yay me.
Reviewing for us today.
A boo.
Prepare for either a super boo or maybe an approval.
I'm ready for the boo, Mogan.
But I don't know. Will it be a boo? Because the game that she will be reviewing for us is Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Ba-boom.
Now, granted, this game came out a year ago for
It
Xbox
did.
One, but it was just released within the last couple months for PS4. Mogan has been playing it since then, and now we must turn to her to hear her thoughts. Swivel.
All right, swivel. So we will start at, I suppose, the beginning.
Here we go.
Let's just keep
Strap in, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a wild ride.
keep it nice and streamlined. We'll start at the beginning. Okay. So to be fair, I have been waiting for this game for what feels like over a year. When I first found out that Rise of the Tomb Raider would be an Xbox exclusive, I felt betrayed, I felt hurt, and more than anything, I was sad. Because coming off of Tomb Raider, the Crystal Dynamics 2012 reboot, I could not have been more excited for a sequel. Seeing the Tomb Raider genre series revived in such grand fashion was just phenomenally special to me, considering the very strong maternal link there. So obviously I cannot say enough. Tomb Raider has been a big part of my mom's gaming history, really the crux of her gaming history for our entire childhoods, our whole lives. And so when she found out that I had bought Rise of the Tomb Raider before her, because she's doing the polite mom thing and waiting until Christmas for one of us to get it for her, she yelled at me. She said I was grounded, and she threatened to disown me. And I was like, okay, Mom, I'll just play a few levels for the review, and then I'll tap out. So that's literally what I had to do. I was like, okay, I'll play enough that I can
that
make
mom guilt on
I
you.
know, got the mom guilt. What's worse is she called me later after I said, okay, Mom, I stopped. She was like, good, because I told all your siblings on you, and they're equally mad. And I was like, oh, God.
Man, you just got kicked out of the family for this one.
Yeah, so I had to default to my family, can't go against mother. So I played enough that I definitely do have a good scope of the game. But to be fair, I have not finished it. So always keep that in mind. Now, here's something else that's really interesting. Before Tomb Raider, regular 2012 Tomb Raider, I had not played any of Uncharted.
Okay.
Coming to Rise of the Tomb Raider, I have played all of Uncharted 1 and enough of Uncharted 2 to give it the boo.
Just slipped it in there.
Just
Against
enough.
popular opinion.
Just enough against Uncharted 1 and Uncharted 2. Boo and boo in harsh succession. Yeah, you haven't played them, you don't know. So what's really interesting is up till
Crossfire.
Fuck your opinions, Zach. Fuck
So-
your opinions.
I have very often heard, and so has my mom, actually, that's how we kind of knew about Uncharted in the first place. We would go into game stores and ask, what do you have that's like Tomb Raider? And so frequently, the employees or the reviewers or whoever would say, oh, you'd love the Uncharted series. And to an extent, I somewhat see what they're saying now. Now that I've played Uncharted 1 and a bit of Uncharted 2, I definitely see those parallels more prominently. There are certain ways that the combat system works and certain exploratory elements that I get it. Like now I get the comparison. Before, my comparison was blind, fuck Uncharted, Tomb Raider forever. Now it's the same thing, but for different reasons that are more informed. So I will go ahead and say I cannot possibly give Uncharted my seal of approval, but Tomb Raider I still very strongly stand by. Rise of the Tomb Raider, I absolutely feel is a phenomenal game. To start, sheer fun of gameplay. I feel that both Tomb Raider 2012 and Rise of the Tomb Raider, they're just really fun to play and just to traverse levels. Where I do feel that Rise of the Tomb Raider blows Uncharted out of the water is again that exploratory and historical element. Uncharted may have had elements of history from the past. You're, of course, looking for these ancient ruins and things like that, but they never go into as much detail as I want. With Rise of the Tomb Raider, one of my favorite things about the game are all the little tiny things you can find. You can find a GPS cache. You can find these in Rise of the Tomb Raider, those scrolls, the ancient scrolls where you're tracking the footsteps of the ancient prophet and the people who are tailing him in succession. And it's all of these different viewpoints that converge.
Oh boy.
Yeah. It's these different viewpoints.
Producer Fender had to step out
Producer
for a while.
Fender,
See you,
he had to go
Got
take
business.
a call. Business call,
Business
indeed.
call.
Business call. It's this convergence of different viewpoints around a common element that is still shrouded in mystery that I love. I love how much voice work they put into all of those scroll readings. I love how much tiny detail they put into the artifacts you can find. And I love that when you do obtain an artifact, it's kind of like a big deal. You're like really proud of yourself, not just for the checklist, but also because you get to observe them. You get to really look at them, and Laura will say things about them. She'll be like, oh, this is a coin from the Byzantine Empire, blah, blah. And then she'll tell you a little bit about it. And I'm like, yay, thank you, Laura, for keeping me informed. Maybe they are doing that in the more recent Uncharted's, but in the early ones, absolutely not. You got a title of the artifacts that you found and nothing more, and it was very boring. Where Tomb Raider excels is building out the environment and making you feel engaged with what you are investigating. And that being said, even the subject matter of Rise of the Tomb Raider is fascinating. You're really exploring ancient Russia, of course, and these people who are kind of Byzantine era, but have continued to evolve and progress through time in their own micro community.
Hold up.
And that's fascinating. So from a unique perspective, obviously the original Tomb Raider did a really great job of exploring ancient Japanese culture, and that was very, very fun. For Rise of the Tomb Raider to take such a different direction with these very snowy, almost desolate, oftentimes industrial environments thanks to the Soviets, it has a really interesting clash of these very harsh modern industrial environments and these really awesome, ruined, old, decrepit environments from the Byzantines. And that's just a culture that you don't really hear about much in modern gaming.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah. You working on it there, bud?
We're back. We're back.
We're back.
Camera went out, now it's back
Camera
on.
went out, now we're
In
back.
case you're listening.
So does anybody have any questions? I'm not sure how we're doing on time. Pretty good
pretty
for
good.
once.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
So it's one, again.
You played it, didn't
no,
you?
it's in my backlog.
Oh,
my huge backlog.
Well, in that case, I can go on. Don't worry.
Yeah, I don't really have any
please,
questions.
yeah.
My big thing was like, does
I
it?
wanted to leave a bit of space for somebody else to chime in.
I mean,
but if nobody
my big
has
thing
anything.
was does it compare to 2012? Because I loved 2012 Tomb Raider.
I will say, so far, I am not more impressed by Rise of the Tomb Raider. Of the two, and I think this is very much a personal bent, the environment of Tomb Raider on this ancient Japanese island that's in like a Bermuda Triangle, that entire idea and environment was very appealing to me
It was.
as a person. So for this to be in this snowy, cold culture that just feels very, not alien, but just very removed from who I am and what I like in my gaming and media, it's just a different separation. So I definitely think that what they've done with the culture that they've chosen, they've done a very good job. But from a personal perspective, it doesn't engage me as much as Tomb Raider did. I will also say there are certain elements of the gameplay that I'm not really sure I'm on board with. There's more elements of crafting in this game than there were in others, wherein you actually go around the environment and collect things like ore. You can mine ore out of the walls. You can collect up mushrooms. You chop down little tiny trees because you need the sticks to make arrows. You need feathers to make your arrows. And that's a different type
That is way
of
more
thing.
in-depth.
Now, you can still get them in the regular game. Like, you can still find, ammo packs and stuff. But it's a different add-on that I frankly feel was not necessary. That's something I could have done without in the game and done perfectly well without ever having as part of that element. Maybe some people got more out of it than I did, but crafting poison arrows is just not something I care
have an
about.
interest in that,
I just
Mogan?
don't care. I just don't care. Which is saying something because the bow and arrow is my favorite weapon. I love the bow and I love the pickaxe. I love
Pickaxe is
axing people in the
badass.
face.
Wow, nice.
In addition,
gory.
I will say that one of the things that Rise of the Tomb Raider, and to an extent Tomb Raider, I still do very strongly stand by Tomb Raider, but Rise of the Tomb Raider so far has not impressed upon me any especially memorable characters outside of Laura. Lara Croft, I'm obviously extremely invested in. I feel like she is an extremely well fleshed out character in both Rise and the previous Tomb Raider game, and I see that trend continuing. But the other characters in the game, even the villains to a certain extent, I just don't care.
Not doing much.
They're not doing much for me. I'm much more interested in this mysterious prophet character of yore of old that you're just hearing about in ancient texts. That's an interesting character to me. But the actual people that you interact with, it's like, meh, I could take them or leave them. They could all be gone, and honestly, you might not be able to tell the difference, and that does not say a lot for the strength of characterization. So that would probably be my biggest critique of the game.
Interesting. But overall,
overall, love it.
Love it.
I cannot wait to continue it. So I've had to put it on pause for some interesting reasons. But once I'm able to take it back up, I will be very excited to do so. I definitely am very interested in continuing to explore more of this lore.
Yeah.
That's what's really got me. The lore and the backstory and where they're going with it. I'm very interested to see where it goes.
nice.
Cool.
Well, that is another resounding team chat approval. We need to do a game that we don't like. Sometime.
Yeah, we do.
Don't worry, let me
First,
do
we gotta get a
Uncharted
game we
3.
don't like.
I can happily do it.
But another resounding thumbs up.
Thumbs up
From Team
I
Chat
will say,
Podcast.
I will say this many thumbs up.
Ooh,
Oh,
one and a half.
Okay,
Fascinating.
1 and 3/4.
1 and
1 and
3/4
3/4
thumbs
That
up.
one's
thumbs
at
up.
like 10 o'clock.
I don't know.
It's still pretty strong.
still
A good
pretty
game.
strong. Still a
You
good
should play it.
I would definitely recommend.
All right. Well, that wraps up this review of Rise of the Tomb Raider, this Team Chat podcast bonus episode, bonusode as we call them. But until next
A
time,
dinosaur, I think. All right, go ahead.
The bonus
Bonusode.
the Bonusaurus Rex. It is an elegant creature. But,
Underappreciated, I think.
but until next time, I'm one of your hosts, Jarrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
Peace out.
And to my left, Zachary Parks.
Peace.